Welcome back again. So yeah, this is part two. Since part two, instead of just being added to part one, for one, the video would be too long of me just rambling, going back in circles. And for two, I had a bunch of ideas start popping up after I stopped the recording. And I didn't feel like redoing all of that again, because this is all improv. Just like whenever I'm doing my roleplay stuff on, like, in the video games, you know? Everything I say, everything I do, it's all improv. It's all on the spot I come up with it. So, just like in these videos, got more to say on the Elder Scrolls 6 as far as what I think would be the best course of action. So, more reasons why it should be Akavir. 1. The Blades. The Blades have been a huge part of the Elder Scrolls since Daggerfall, really. Like, in Daggerfall, you are a Blades agent. They were around in Arena, but during Arena they were more like a sort of a secretive fighters guild instead of the bodyguards of the Emperor. Also, don't think they had Japanese style yet until like Oblivion, but I digress. So with the Blades, you know, they are descended from the Seisi, and so I think that'd be really cool if there's some like back and forth because they're dragon hunters, whereas the Kapotan dragon folk, not dragon folk, cat folk or tiger folk, yeah, they worship the dragons. Their leader is a dragon, Toshraka. If you've ever read Mysterious Akavir, which I quoted a lot in my last video. He's a dragon. Well, he was a tiger person, but then he turned himself into a dragon after trying a bunch of times, and he was the only one to ever succeed, so the rest just kind of bowed to him, you know. And I introduced some lore ideas on how he could possibly be Akatosh in a theoretical sense, you know, but, it'd be really cool if, like, the Blades, you are with the Blades, you know, that, and you have a couple of options, because the best thing about keeping it all sort of, like, mysterious, not like, to the denizens of Tamriel, it's like, oh shoot, big old Akaviri invasion, you know, and all of that. The great thing about it, if like, you know, the Blades are kept secretive and all of that in Hammerfell, because it makes sense they'd be in Hammerfell, and fighting against the Dominion is like, it provides roleplay opportunity, because no matter what you do, you stop the invasion, but how you go about it is where the fun could go into play. So like, you could be primarily just Blades, you know, like completely against the Capleton. Or you could sneak into their ranks, get to know them, and you could essentially kind of like how the Forgotten City Skyrim mod, how it gives you a bunch of different options that all end up leading, different things happen, but as far as like with the Arbiter, if you want to just kill him and be done with it, and then just bring his helmet, show him that you can kill him, or you can just be diplomatic and tell him like, hey, you gotta stop this, you know. Either way, like, you're doing the same thing. It's just about different methods. It'd be really cool to have something for that, like that with Elder Scrolls 6. You know, maybe you could bring literal couple-ton people into your ranks. Maybe they could be kind of like werewolves, in which, like they can, like with werewolves in Skyrim, like you have to drink werewolf blood in order to become a werewolf. Have it to where with Capleton, like, you drink their blood, and allows you sort of, not like you become a were-tiger or anything, that'd be too crazy. Or they could do it, I think that'd be pretty cool, but, like, to where it gives you a new ability to, like, say, 3 times a day, you get all your, like, your main stats enhanced. Kind of like how, like, you know how in the older Elder Scrolls games, like in Oblivion, you had, like, your main stats and all that? Yeah. It's a great way of having them come into play later, because then it would be those stats that get enhanced and, like, maybe get some more cooler powers and all that. Maybe it's a good way to introduce shouts again, if that's what you're into. Like, you know, because maybe the Capleton, they've become so affiliated with the dragons that they, too, know how to shout. Except there's none of that wave the voice nonsense the Greybeards have. I shouldn't say nonsense, but, I mean, to the Capleton it would be nonsense, you know? But yeah, Blades, there's a bunch of roleplay opportunity as far as how you go about it. Whether you want to be more just Doom guy, execute them all, or if you want to be more like get them on your side and all that, get some of them on your side and end up either way stopping the invasion. To Tamriel in the history books, it'll just say the invasion was stopped by the Blades. Now how they went about it, they don't know, because it's a secretive organization. You know, which is why I think having the Blades play a huge role in it would be so good. And maybe at the end, you become Grandmaster of the Hammerfell Blades. Now there's the Blades over in Skyrim, I'm not sure what we could do about them, but I mean, by the end of the game, they're like what, 5 people? I mean, like, that's assuming you even decide to help them, and that's even assuming they even have a Dragonborn on their side, which majority of the community has already agreed on that nobody's on their freaking side, unless you're the Phantom Blade from that one Hypothesis build, but that's meant to be an evil character, you know. But yeah, no, that's another reason. Oh shoot, I had it in my mind. Hold up a minute. Let me think about it for a sec. Alright, so I mentioned it in my last video, but like having Toshraka, kind of like how the Dalmor in Skyrim became sort of an overarching threat. Have Toshraka become an overarching threat, like, okay, is he gonna invade or is he not? You know, like what's gonna happen here? You know? Well, obviously he's gonna try to invade, but it'll be like a lesser invasion under a general. That's like only a taste to come, right? And then have a bunch of like sort of Dalmor conflict in Hammerfell, you know, of them trying to get to the Adamantium Tower, which could cause for new wars and all that. Like, there's so much they could do. Plus all the Redguard lore. I haven't even gotten into Redguard lore. With the sword singing, like, if you could learn the ways of the sword singer and all that, get a sword made out of your very soul, that'd be sick. That'd be incredibly sick. You know? And again, like I said in the last video, assuming that's the same recording, you could be like, have a champion of Cyrodiil was just a dude who basically becomes a literal god. Like, do that for Elder Scrolls 6. That is such a cool concept. Unlike the whole prophesized hero stuff we see so much in fantasy, just have it be a dude. Just a dude. He gets chosen by higher powers, like, alright, yeah, you're gonna just do this now. You know, get it? Or, of course, that's assuming that's the roleplay route you want to go down. You could also, like, as far as, like, guilds go, you know, there's the whole crowns and forebears stuff. There's the Imperial Legion, which could be associated with the, pretty sure the crowns are the progressive ones. The Imperial Legion associated with them. You could have the more conservative forebears. You know, it could, like, kind of like how in Morrowind there was different great houses which function as political parties. Like, crowns and forebears, they're kind of like different political parties, but, you know, left and right. So, like, you could go into the politics and all that. Like, there's so many good things you could do for it. And there's so many other ideas that I'm sure you can come up with that right now are escaping my mind. You know? So, share your ideas in the comments of what a Akaviri invasion-focused Elder Scrolls 6 could look like. You know, there could be raids, like city raids, like how in Oblivion you had City of Kavach get eradicated. You know, you could have, like, just so much. I can't even, quite frankly, put it into words. But, it's my second video of rambling. Have a good day and have a blessed life, and I hope to see you again soon. And I hope you're as excited for the Elder Scrolls 6 as I am.